Hysterical bad influence, or should that be hysterical? We'll be revisiting some of the best and worst games ever written.
We've an exclusive peek at the world's first 64-bit games console, and our main review this week is Battletoads on the SNES.
And I'll be visiting the Institute of Future Technology and trying out Dr. E. Brown's latest invention.
But first, have a look at this. It's the first ever arcade game, Pong. It came out nearly 20 years ago, and it's a simple but very playable tennis game. It was invented in 1974 by an American, Nolan Bushnell, who later went on to form the Atari video games company. And now, Atari have another world first, the world's first 64-bit games console, the Jaguar. This is the only one in the country, and in fact, it's so new that the games themselves aren't even on their proper cartridges yet. As you might imagine, it produces fantastic quality graphics, animation and sound. This is called Crescent Galaxy, a bog-standard space shoot-'em-up that comes with the machine. But look at the detail on the pictures, and look how smoothly everything moves.
So what does 64-bit mean? Well, the first consoles, like the Master System and the NES, are 8-bit consoles. Now, don't do this at home, but if you look inside them, you can see that there are 8 lines etched into the circuit board. Now, each line is a connecting wire, and each wire can deal with 1 bit of information, which means that these machines can deal with 8 bits of information at once. Moving across to the 16-bit machines, the SNES and the Mega Drive, and looking inside them, you can see that these ones have 16 connecting wires between the chips, which means that they can handle double the information at one time.
Not surprisingly then, in the Jaguar 64-bit machine, there are 64 wires connecting each chip. They're here, although they're so faint you can barely see them. Strictly speaking, the Jaguar is 2 32-bit machines, one dedicated to sound, one to pictures, and it has special custom chips that help the whole lot move even faster. They're nicknamed Tom and Jerry. It's these two here. Jerry is dedicated to producing high-quality stereo sound, and Tom to moving graphics that allow the programmers to produce effects like this.
Good luck.
This game is called Cybermorph, and you can see the way the spaceship changes shape as it flies. Objects on the screen can be stretched, squashed, and warped at will. The machine can also do texture mapping, as in this early version of Alien vs. Predator. You can choose to be either the alien or the predator, and stalk your opponent through the tunnels. And this is an early version of Checkered Flag 2, based on the arcade favourite Virtua Racing. The machine should be in the shops in this country around Christmas, and add-ons like a CD drive and a virtual reality helmet are planned for next year.
Hey, hello, Scryfurtlers. I'm really excited because later on I'm going to be trying out my latest invention, the Namrud Mark II time machine. I'm having a few problems, though, with the space-time capacitator. It keeps going off accidentally and disrupting time. It keeps going off accidentally and disrupting time. Anyway, now you're here, here's a cheat for Turtles in Time on the SNES. On the title screen, use Controller 2 and press up, 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 down, 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 B, A, B, and you'll hear a chime. Now, start the game and select your turtle, and a menu will appear showing all 11 bosses. Hello, Scryfurtlers. I'm really excited because later on I'm going to be trying out my latest invention, the Namrud Mark II time machine.
Time to get on with the programme, I think. This Friday sees the launch of 3 brand new Battletoads games. This is the Game Boy version, Battletoads in Ragnarok's World. The 3 Battletoads have to come to the rescue of a captive princess. The NES version is Battletoads and Double Dragon, where the Battletoads have to stop a threatening space cruiser from destroying the Earth. The SNES game, Battletoads and Battlemaniacs, sees Zitz, Rash and Pimple in Tibet, saving yet another captive princess. These princesses really should be much more careful. Here's Lakesh.
There's been a lot of hype about this game, and when you first see it, you're impressed. It mixes together lots of different styles of gameplay. This is level 2, and as you can see, there's already a vast change in gameplay. The graphics are excellent, and I have to kill all these beasts in various different ways. Punching, kicking, throwing my platform down, sending it whizzing across the screen. The 2-player mode adds life to the game, but however, as soon as I've reached this level, I've begun to get tired of the game. It gets ludicrously hard, and this is only level 3. I've been playing it solid now, and I just still can't complete it. It's got some nice touches, but it soon gets tedious, probably because it gets so hard in later levels.
This is brilliant fun. The gameplay and graphics on are excellent. The characters move really well, but some of the later levels are just too hard.
This game has a lot to offer for experienced game players, but for most it's just too hard.
And so the final scores for Battletoads in Battlemaniacs. The girls gave it an excellent 4 out of 5, but the boys only thought it was average and gave it 3 out of 5. Use the special move, now. That's it. If you were watching Bad Influence last year, you may remember that Z. Wright went to see how computers are used behind the scenes at the Universal Studios in Hollywood. Well, this year he's been invited back to check out the latest computer-driven attraction, the one people in the know are calling BTTF.
BTTF. Well, I've got my ticket, I had a light breakfast, and I'm ready to ride. The new ride is based on a famous movie, and it uses the very latest simulator technology. Have you got it yet? BTTF? Well, here I am in the pre-attraction themed entertainment for the new ride, or Q as it's known technically. In fact, the BTTF pre-show area is cleverly designed to build your anticipation.
Department 1, check in. Level 2, check in.
You must have guessed it by now. BTTF is Back to the Future. And this is what happens after you've enjoyed the pre-attraction themed entertainment.
You see the DeLorean accelerate to 88 miles per hour and...
Back to the Future, the ride gives you a chance to travel in an 8-seater DeLorean time machine as invented by Dr. Emmett Brown. The trip takes you into the future to the year 2015, back to the Ice Age, through glaciers, volcanoes, and even into the mouth of a dinosaur.
Not a dinosaur!
Now, to convince the passengers that they're really traveling and not just sitting in a motion platform in a building, the ride designers use lots of tricks.
First of all, we're utilizing the DeLorean time travel machine, and that's a car. People are used to the car. Looking over a dashboard, over a hood, and you see an 80-foot full perspective world in front of you. So that's the first strike. The second is the sound. We use 30,000 watts of audio, 12 channels, all digitally interlocked. It creates a real sound. And, of course, we have to synchronize the motion exactly to the image. And those three things create that illusion.
The DeLoreans are moved by hydraulic pistons in much the same way as a flight simulator. The images were produced by flying a tiny camera through a miniature set. The film that you watch as you bounce around is projected on a system called OmniMax, which gives you very high-quality pictures that appear to surround you. It was specially produced for the ride, and it's the most expensive 4.5 minutes of film ever made. It cost $16 million. The most important factor of making the experience convincing is to make sure that the sound, pictures, and motion all happen exactly together.
There was a technician who actually was able to create the program by drawing the movement with a mouse of the piston. So as we came into Hill Valley, we knew exactly what point in the film that the image was going to stop, and that's the point that we would program for the ride system itself to stop.
The computers also control various live effects, like the smoke which engulfs you at various points. BTTF, believe this terrific feeling. Or maybe brilliant time travel fun. Or perhaps even back to Tandy and Violet.
Candy and Violet?
I think he means talented and fiery. And now it's time for this week's news and previews.
Another Bad Influence scoop. Here are the first action shots of the new arcade game Super Street Fighter 2. There are 4 new locations and 4 new challenges, including British Special Agent Cammy, who has an incredible arsenal of moves. The other new characters are Jamaican prize fighter DJ, T-Hawk, a Native American wrestler, and Fei Long, a Chinese martial artist.
The latest interactive CD to arrive at the Bad Influence office is a new kind of pop promo. It's called The Worlds Of, and it features 5 bands from the Rhythm King record label. As well as 8 complete video tracks, you can find out info about the bands, remix a CNN track to your taste, and even solve puzzles in the Tokyo Underground. It's out in November for CDI and will cost just a bit more than a standard CD.
Virtual reality on the SNES? Well, not quite, but the Lawnmower Man game, based on last year's hit movie, is due out next month. The game has 5 different styles of play, with straightforward platform and puzzle sections, as well as a driving chase and some VR segments.
Oh, right, Furtlers. I think I've just about got that fixed. You join me at a very historical moment. I plan shortly to travel backwards through the space-time continuum to an earlier time. It's terribly dangerous. So first, I leave you with this cheat for Alien Breed on the Amiga. On the second level, enter the Entex computer and type in Puffnuts mode. Then exit, and the aliens will slow down to tortoise pace. And now for my time travel experiment. It's you. What time is it? About 5 o'clock. Oh, that's funny. I'm sure I set the machine for about Tuesday.
How old do you think Mario is? 2, 4, 10? Well, it may surprise you to know that this year Mario celebrates his 12th birthday. He first appeared in 1981 on a game called, do you remember it, Donkey Kong, where he spent his time jumping over barrels and fireballs to save the lovely Pauline from the great big monkey. Originally, this was an arcade game, but then, just like nowadays, it came out on the home systems, and this old thing is called a Coleco. And as Violet now reports, for some people, systems like this are practically antiques.
This is a real treasure trove for games players like me. I've come to the Computer Cavern near London for a day of nostalgia. Owner Richard Gandy has scoured the world to build up a collection of most of the home consoles and computers ever produced. There's hundreds of computers and thousands of games. This was the most popular console of the late 70s and early 80s, the Atari VCS. It had loads of classic games like Space Invaders, Breakout, and this one, Asteroids. Sound was simple, graphics were basic, but it had that all-important factor, playability. But a lot didn't. This is the game E.T. 6 million copies were produced. It was so bad that only 1 million copies were sold. 5 million ended up buried in the Arizona desert. Most of the games that appeared on these machines were converted from coin-ops. In Japan, the Space Invaders coin-op was so popular it caused a coin shortage. The government had to produce 4 times as many yen to cope with the problem. In 1981, electronic boffin Clive Sinclair made his first move into home computers. The Sinclair ZX81 only had black and white pictures and there was no sound, but it started a whole new phase in the history of computing. You see, it cost under 50 quid and you could program it. Software came on cassettes, which took ages to load. The machine itself was pretty unreliable. Even the Computer Cavern haven't got one that works. The big boom in home computers started in the early 80s. Graphics and sound got better, cartridges became temporarily extinct, and most games were released on cassettes. These were some of the earliest games for the C64, which was the first Commodore machine to become well established 3 years before the Amiga. But there's lots more to see at the Computer Cavern. All these old machines and games is that because the graphics and sound weren't very sophisticated, the programmers had to really concentrate on making them playable. This one, Breakout, is one of my favourites.
And now, things have come full circle with a new disc for the PC, Arcade. The disc is brand new. It features conversions of 5 classic games like this one, Battlezone. Also on there are Asteroids and Missile Command. Die, Johnny Tank Commander, die! Yes! And now for some brand new games reviewed by our panel.
The year is 2020 and the favourite sport is baseball, but not quite the sort we're used to today. Here's Sarah on first base.
The teams are made up of robots and there's a very interesting futuristic theme to it. You can either play Exciting or Fighting League. I'm playing Exciting, but there's not much difference between them. Here I'm against a computer and my team's fielding. And it's a fast pitch, but he hits it. Will he be out? Yes, he is. Now it's my turn to bat. One problem with the game is that it's very hard on player one. And it's a slow ball. Will it be out, though? Yes, it's a foul ball. The game really does come alive in two-player. It's much easier and it's better to play with a friend. This game is just too hard in one player. If you've got no friends, then don't bother.
This has some very colourful graphics, but not a lot of gameplay.
It's a nice game, but I prefer a straightforward baseball game without all the jazzed up bits.
And the scores for Super Baseball 2020, the girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, and the boys thought it was OK too. 3 out of 5 from them.
After its console success, Alien 3 is about to be released on the Amiga. The scene is the mining planet Fiorina 161, inhabited by hardcore convicts. Following a crash landing, sole survivor Ripley has a hard task ahead. Here's Paul.
I'm playing Ripley, and on this level I have to rescue 8 different prisoners. It's nice to see a woman rescuing the men for a change. Here I am, trying to kill the end-of-level baddie. I'm just using my machine gun there, trying to machine gun him down, but it's not very effective. I've just been killed again. I'm going to change to the flamethrower, which is a much better weapon and kills them a lot quicker. But the only thing is that it's a bit slow. There's a first aid box drop there. I'm going to try and get to it. So I'll use my grenade launcher, which is by far the best weapon. He should hopefully run away a minute, and I'll be able to get it now. That'll give me some extra energy so I can try and kill him. It's a plain old boring shoot-'em-up. They're just using the film name to get people to buy it.
I'm not one for film conversions. The music was boring and there wasn't variety in the levels.
I actually thought this was an excellent game. It's a great conversion from Mega Drive to Amiga.
And the scores for Alien 3, the girls gave it a poor 2 out of 5, and the boys only went one better, an average score of 3 out of 5.
Well, Future Nam, it's been an honour to meet you. And you, oh great ancestor. Shall we do a cheat together? Why not? It's for Streets of Rage 2 on the Mega Drive. It lets 2 players be the same character. On the title screen, hold down right and B on controller 1, and left and A on controller 2. And with them all held down together, press C. Then now choose a 2-player game, and you can both be the same character. Excuse me, is this the year 1847? No, it's next Thursday. Oh.
1 NAM is more than enough for me. If you want to read the data blast, set your video recorders now. Last week's competition was to win this bag, and in it, we put a SNES, a special pad, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and a Bad Influence t-shirt, and various other goodies. The question was, what is the name of the female fighter in Street Fighter 2? The answer was, of course, Chun-Li, and the lucky winner is Christopher Lovett from Cheshire. Expect a very large parcel in the post.
This week's competition prize, yes, you could own the first Jaguar 64-bit console in the country. Although you'll have to wait a few weeks for it because it's not out for ages. However, we'll make it worth your while because not only will we give you that, we'll send you down to London for a special presentation. And in the meantime, to placate you, we'll give you the Bad Influence t-shirt. The competition question is, what is the fastest land animal? And it's not the Jaguar. Phone in your answers on 0891 700 100, 0891 700 100. Calls will cost you no more than 25p, but do get permission from whoever pays the phone bill before you call. Lines will stay open till midnight on Monday.
That's it for now. See you next week.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.